Very Elegant the outside. She's trying her hardest. It's Adair and Very Elegant in a ripping finish. Adair's lifting. He fends off Very Elegant and Delasan, and Adair goes back to back. The Beast of Britain's done it.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I've got the punters punter here, DK, fired up yet again.
Fired up, Scooty. Yeah, nothing like doing your ass to fire you up. Here we go. Anyway,
Darcy's with us, Melbourne's finest. How are you, Darcy?
Yes, good, guys.
Darcy.
How are you?
And Nico's on the quick backup from Bendigo.
Yeah, big show today. Big weekend coming up. Caulfield, Flemington Sunday, so plenty of angles for the punters at home.
Yeah, and Rand Week. It feels like we're in a bit of a time warp. The last 3 weeks, pretty much the same meetings.
Yeah, true. Especially with those at Bendigo on the Wednesdays, your joint.
It does feel like a time warp at the moment, doesn't it? Especially with the championships, Randwick. We've been at Caulfield for what feels like forever, so now it'll be good to get a bit of a different sort of few meetings there on Sunday for sure.
And I thought from the subs, it was a pretty quiet week. You dodged a lot of bets by the sounds of things for your subs from your DK out wide set, but it sounds like you've had a bit of a horror yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's what they call variance, which sometimes, I don't know if it's variance but a lot of those things, like a lot of those winners I had, there were things that loomed up to beat them, and other things like the thing on Strathalbyn Sunday, well, the thing ran past it, you know, and I had a couple of others where, a bit of variance has kicked in, but a lot of those things, those winners like Santiro, Don't Doubt Nick, a few of the others, they jumped out at me. They just jumped off the page. I was doing the form and said, I'm the winner of this race. You know, and I haven't had hardly any of that. So if I'm not betting, like if I don't feel that, I don't want to tip.
And that's the best, isn't it? When you get that clarity and you go, oh, this is moral. Like we just got to be on punters.
Yeah.
And then compared to when you're going through a race and you're trying to find something and searching through, like when you got that supreme clarity at the start, that's when you want to be betting.
And there's also a pricing thing, Nico. Like you do say something like that. So, I like whatever the thing at Saturday at Kyneton was, but it was. They put it up. I thought it'd go up 3-1. They went up 5-4. So I'm saying, I still like it and everything. The market looked like it was going to change around. But then like something, it's still got to be the right price. You know, you can't just blindly jump on things. So there's been a bit of that. So I've been a bit quiet, but I want the bets to count. I want people to back winners. So if I don't feel it, I'm not sending it out.
When we like a horse in our little chat group, there's a couple of pro punters that sit in that one, and we call it horned up deluxe if we really like it. And then when you're seeing them like beach balls, we call it the eye of the storm. So if someone's in form, they're in the eye of the storm. So I like what you're saying there, DK, because if you start to force it and start to have these bets, you get out of the eye of the storm and you just start to do things and you get yourself on the wrong leg. You can be absolutely on fire and then overbet and do things too much. You start to grey yourself up, and you don't have to just keep pulling the trigger week in, week out. To have a break is one of the best things you can do.
Yeah, spot on. And we've some people to the bane of a lot of people. We do have saturation racing.
Yeah.
We've got 2 meetings today, 2 meetings tomorrow. We've got 2 on Sunday, this and that. So there's no shortage of stuff to try and for races for me to look at, for things to jump out. But I want things savage in the line. And if we look at the post race on Don't Doubt Nick and Santiro, they're both run best of the day, just about, to savage the line, and they're the horses I want to find the punters, Anyway, so hopefully there's plenty of racing coming up.
And so a trainer that's in the eye at the moment is Nick Ryan. Mohammedaeus was a good one that you found last week. It was great just to see it cruising to the line last week, Nico.
Wasn't an awfully pretty watch, not going to lie. I didn't think he was going to get there. I didn't think he was going to get there halfway down the straight. But yeah, he got the chockies there for us. $1.95 I think he got out there. So something for the punters. Snowy was all over it as well. So it was easy to sort of back up the confidence when he was getting the grouse mail too.
Yeah, then he had the second winner and he had the reckoning yesterday. And
airborne. Yeah, absolutely airborne.
Yeah, so good on him. He's not a big stable. He might have, 30 or 40 maybe. So yeah.
Made the move to Flemington from his Caulfield base, and Instant Celebrity was a bit disappointing. That was sort of our pin-up horse, and gee, it was flat as a tack, wasn't it?
And the market there was alarm bells early there when it just started getting soft, and then it was express late against those other two, the Minhaj and Montessori. The market really found it. And I went and had another look after the race to say, why did it drift? That's one thing I do, and maybe that's just, I don't know. I thought it might have been the yard. I thought it might have been from the yard, but the drift started before the yard parade would have come through.
I couldn't work it out either, so I just ended up staying out once the drift started happening because, it did seem a bit smelly, didn't it? There was a few factors there that you just didn't want to be on once it really started to get out. And Montessori third up, Ma Eustace absolutely flying. Jai went over to ride it. There was enough ticks there.
6 there, and Minhaj as well, even though it didn't go much good, they really liked it.
It was a big day in Sydney. I declared Miami bound last week. I thought it was a really big run, but just quite not good enough. Had its chance. It was there to win, but it was too far back and it just run out of tickets.
Just swap No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say you swap. If Idle Realm of Flowers had the run Solino had, been off the rail instead of being buried back on the fence in a staying race.
Yep.
If they'd been Solino, been able to build on the turn like it did, like Ronnie Stewart did, and kick clear. I mean, it was the map that saw the result for me. If either of those two horses had the same run Solino, they would have won the race. But so anyway, but Chris Waller, someone said, did you hear him talk about Ronnie Stewart? Because the owners were going, all these owners, Neil, whoever owns that horse, said, they're coming to me, who's this Ronnie Stewart bloke? He said, anyone question who Ronnie Stewart is, you tell them to double their bet. That's how confident Waller was of that thing winning. So, he said that after the race, though, of course.
He's knocked me off. I've done some Queensland form in the past, and he's absolutely cruelled me. I just can't catch him. I'm on the wrong side of him all the time. But I know, looking through the punting form data in the last sort of 6 to 12 months, he can. Like, his strike rate is there, and he's like a profitable jockey to back. But yeah, he's hot and cold for me.
Yeah,
but a lot of those Brisbane riders can be like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Brisbane riders.
Let's get the replay up from the Queen Elizabeth. Let's have a look at this early race move that Tom Marquand made, and it's a tricky one. We've got different opinions here, but what Marquand did was he made a move early to get Very Elegant in a pocket. And I know Very Elegant was pulling a little bit, but I thought it was a great ride from Tom Marquand. He summed the race up really, really early and got the job done with Jmac. He put him in a pocket and then made the move to push forward. And then Jmac, he's got shuffled back and ended up third last on Very Elegant. I know the horse was pulling. We'll go on, DK. Say it. You're about to burst.
He's ready to fire up. Here he goes.
Well, I think Mark won the race with his move early.
The first thing I'll say, there is nothing about a Royal Rumble about that race.
Yeah.
It was a dead set barrier trial. That's the first thing, with a very excited race caller beefing it all up. Okay, apart from that, the tempo, obviously, a slow tempo is not going to suit Very Elegant because she can get on the chewy. Marquand did make the good move because he's on a strong one pacer. So he had the benefit of putting his slow tempo. I might as well put this bloke, strong horse, send it forward, which he can, and he got the double whammy of being able to get outside a Jmac then. But your horse Delasan, I mean, he was 40-1. He got beaten a length.
Good run. Moanga was good.
Your horse? It was just a bunch finish. It was out. What do they go? 7 lengths. Out 7 lengths slow or something like that.
They went real slow, like relative to the class and the sort of race it was. Once Adair sort of missed the start, it kind of worked out perfect for Adair, really. Like he missed the start, but then he had, like what you're talking about, he had the situation there where he can put Jmac in the pocket, got Very Elegant completely over racing, then Hugh kicked up underneath him on Mugger like, I don't know, when I was looking at the race, I thought she just gets the best map in the race, like it's going to just be so easy for her, and it turned out she got the worst. She just got absolutely in a meat sandwich there halfway through the run, like just not where you want to be.
And exactly, things can change when the barrier's open. That's the plan A and plan B, and we do our race maps and race. You think for the race shape, and as the race pans out, it suits some horses and doesn't suit others, and hence the results.
Yeah, I had a good bet there, and as soon as we went sort of 400, I knew I'd done my cash. Like once Adair was sort of OSL and she was back pulling, I was like, well, this is game over now. Like,
given how hard she goes, she can't lead, can she? She's not a horse that can sit up front.
No, especially with Waller training her. She doesn't. No, you don't want those. They don't want those keen. They want those keen going horses.
Well, she half saw daylight at the start and went to go, so I think she just needs cover, like we already know.
And a bit more tempo.
It's an interesting one because I've been, I guess, Team Jmac. I think Jmac's the best rider in Australia, or I did for quite a long time. But has he lost the mantle?
He's had an interesting carnival.
He's had an interesting carnival. But if I pose the question here, which jockey in Australia would you want riding for your life? And at the moment, I would have said probably 6 months ago it was Jmac, but now I think I'm nearly believing all the Jamie Carr hype, and I just love the way the horse is set up for her. She's got magic hands, magic balance, and I'd probably say that she's now got the mantle as number one jockey in Australia. Who do you think, DK?
Well, it's being their jurisdiction, I would have thought. I mean, if you're saying that about Jmac, it'd be New South Wales. I wouldn't back Jmac, or he wouldn't be in the top 5 down here if he was in a Group 1 down here. So if you ask me that question, I'd say in the country where I make bet at the moment, John Allen. Johnny, he's just airborne. He's riding a double treble every day. He's riding. So that's in my. And if I was having a metro bet in Melbourne, it'd be probably Damien Lane.
Yep.
Because he's just cool, calm, collected, doesn't make many blues. So
not a JCar fan.
Yeah, I'm a JCar. JCar or D Lane. You pick one of them, but I still like Frosty.
Nico?
Frosty. And he's done me more favours than Jay Carr has, Frosty.
Look, yeah, it's all sort of biased commentary. Look, I think if you're still talking about number one jockey in Australia, I think it is Jmac. Like, you just got to look at his CV. Like, Jamie Carr, yes, she's gone up and won a Doncaster and she's had an unreal year, but she's still nowhere near of that real top level of, you know, the CV that sort of Jmac's put together, all these Group 1s he's won, even Ollie, and sort of, I suppose you can throw a few other jockeys in there. If I had a jockey riding for my life, it wouldn't be Jamie Carr. I'd be picking a real aggressive rider. I think King Callow.
Oh, yes, King Callow.
He would just do everything possible to throw it over the line, and I got to stay fat with Nash. He's been my favourite rider ever since I was a little kid.
He's an animal on him now.
They're the two I'd probably pick to ride for me life for sure.
And our friend up in Brisbane, Johnny McLeod, put forward Ryan Maloney.
Was he trying to have a dig at me?
He was.
Well, I did put my foot in it there. Well, you remember, Nico, like when Maloney and A Melian, when they were riding down here, they might have one or two rides on a Saturday, but generally they'd be at the Saturday Provincial.
Yeah.
Now, they're the two most, I just had a look at the stuff this morning, they're the two most informed riders in Queensland. Maloney's got amazing stats. He's riding at 25% or something, over 500 rides. Like, it's amazing stats. So it's great that they've improved their craft and things like that, and Andrew Melian as well.
It does make you think, like, what if a rider like Dan Yendall went up to a place like Queensland?
Is it because of that's a drop back in grade? I mean, you look at Jess Eaton. I'm not supposing Jess Eaton, but Jess Eaton again, provincial jockey here, goes to South Australia and just completely dominating.
I think it definitely is a drop back in grade. There's no doubt about it. I think we have the most competitive riding ranks in Australia. Like Sydney probably have the real sort of elite jockeys that ride sort of your Saturday, Wednesday, but like you look at even Bendigo yesterday, D-Lane's there, J-Car's there. They're all going for 3 rides, 4 rides. Like, it is hard to get a go. Even a rider like Ben Allen, like if he went to South Australia, he would be the top jockey by far.
It's probably the big C word, confidence, isn't it?
Got your big, yeah. It's with anything in the caper.
Well,
the punting, the riding, and having known my mate who was a good rider here, they ride the confidence up and down. They're really, they're down, they're up, things like that.
Well, look at a jockey like Bo Mertens. Like, he was the star apprentice.
Yeah, he was.
2-3 years ago, looked like he was going to set the world on fire, and he barely gets a go now. Like, you'd think if he went to another state, he'd just kill it.
He'd do well as well, yeah.
But then it's a lifestyle thing as well. Like, you can, ride 7 days a week here in Victoria and all those kind of things. So you're making probably the same sort of money, even though you're not getting on the red hot sort of chances like you would if you went to Queensland or South Australia.
Callow's just done that. Speaking of Callow, he's just headed up there for the lifestyle,
Yeah.
Struggles in the colder weather with his weight and things, and doesn't want to ride 7 days a week. He's happy to ride at the Gold Coast, but you see the Queensland boys up there are happy to have him up there, see what he's like getting them home.
Confidence is a big thing, and there's a rider called Glenn Boss who eats Group
1 bossy.
Yeah, for breakfast, and he just steps into them. He's shipped himself around. He's been to Singapore, he's been to Brisbane, he's back in Sydney.
Much rather be him on a Group 1 than a maiden, I tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone finds their mark. It's going to be an absolute cracking show. The boys are on fire early. We've got Morphettville again. We've got Beat the Bag and previewing the biggest 2 races there, the Nitschke and the City of Adelaide Handicap. Nico Noonan is filling in for Case. Case is still over in the UK, stuck in the UK. He's got a couple of early races at Caulfield, Nico, and Randwick. We have got Dreamboat Matt Taylor back from season 1. Big in this, Matty Taylor, hey?
Been a while.
Yeah, Group 1 Matt. So he's going to do the all-age stakes, and he's got the Champagne Stakes as well. Very popular. But if you're doing the form this week, Darcy.
Puntingform.com.au. 200 metre sectional time splits for Australia, Singapore and Hong Kong. Class benchmarking and more. Punting Form, find your edge.
Fantastic product, puntingform.com.au. Up next, we'll talk Adelaide with Beat the Bagman. Welcome back to Bet Doctor. Behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I've got DK, Darcy and Nico Noonan in studio, and it's time to talk Adelaide Racing and our man, Beat the Bagman, one of the hottest in the market at the moment. I noticed your horse last week, Savoxatil, 13 into about $8, so you were on the money. You must be betting big.
Oh, huge. Absolutely huge, Nick. He would be scary with the figures that are being transported through my account on a Saturday. No, mate, it wasn't any of my money, but the money was certainly on. But, it didn't run too well, unfortunately, for followers of my selections.
Now, Bagman, what do you make? We're just having a chat before about Instant Celebrity and the drift, and then the run with the drift.
Yes.
You got any thoughts on that?
Well, the market definitely knew, didn't it, DK? It was very easy late in betting. I think he almost got to $5 mark on the fair. Look, in the run, it had every chance as well. It was flat. The market was actually spot on. So, look, it's too good a horse to ride off, but we'll need to have a look at it again. But yeah, the mark was definitely spot on. I thought Smoking Vow out of that race was absolutely huge at about 25 to 1 to follow.
Keep an eye on it.
I've got a black book of 2 from that meeting, so I'm happy to share that on the show once it gets nominated. I've got really itchy fingers. There's a couple of really quiet runs there at Adelaide, so that's exciting. But Nico Noonan, little hat tip. Hey, Doc. The money came for it. It was about $6.50 into $4.40. It was hammered, and you basically said just lay this each way, and there it gets flogged.
He's been a great horse, but I think he's looking for the paddock. Old Haydock. I think retirement is very much nearing. Like, pulled up lame in the race there at Moonee Valley. Like, he just looks gone. Like he's been a great horse to me. I bought a couch off my Haydock winnings there in the Manikato. So he's been an absolutely fantastic horse for me. We've got the Haydock and the Old Kirk there in the house. So, but yeah, he does look gone.
Absolute solid investment. Some of those couches last forever, and they can tell some yarns, don't they? Especially in those share houses. Now, let's talk about Morphettville this Saturday. We've got the Nitschke Stakes, race 6. Odds are up on the screen. Let's have a look at those market movers, please, Darcy.
Yeah, so we have Anavisto, $2.20 into $2.10, and Agreeable, $3.90 into $3.80.
We're going to put up a replay of Anavisto, its last start win, Bagman, and do you want to chat through, and the boys might jump in after you have a chat?
Yeah, this is Anavisto winning at Caulfield last start. It's in the, I guess, teal blue sort of colours just outside the leader there. 60 kilos this day, proved absolutely no impost, winning by a plum, and it will drop back to 55.5 on set weights and penalties here on the parks this weekend. Look, on the weights and measures, looks an absolute moral. Down to 55.5 is probably meeting a field that's not a lot harder than what it met there at Caulfield, and it should, from that wide draw, sit up on the speed and prove awfully hard to beat. Marcus went up at around $2.50. It's been crunched in now. It's around, as you said, Darcy, around that 210, 215 sort of quote. I think the money will keep coming for it. I think out of the 2 sort of shorter price ones, that and Groundswell, I'd be leaning to Anavisto as a strong bet.
We'll get the replay up of Agreeable. That's the next shortest in the market, and maybe Nico Noonan, you can talk us through this one. Agreeable.
Yeah, bit of MF here, isn't there? I know these horses pretty well. Look, Agreeable last start, I don't think she ran in the strongest race. Like, everything kind of went away there at Caulfield and got over the top of them. I think Anavisto's had the same sort of situation in her last 2, though. Like, she won on a rails day there at Bendigo, and then last start, no, she carried the big weight, like Shane said, and she's down in the weights here, but she did get a very, very easy time of it. My only knock would be if she found a fast run race. I don't know what the map's like, Shane. Is there any possibility that it could be a fast run race? That would be probably my only knock there with her.
I don't think there's going to be too much speed. Looking at the map, I think I've got myself sitting outside the speed here, so it's not going to be too quick at all. I think from barrier 6, Anavisto can definitely sit up either leading or outside the lead, which is definitely the place to be on the Parks track. I think Agreeable from that barrier 10. It's a tough position circling wide on the Parks, so at the current quote, I'd be probably willing to let it go.
Yeah, any thoughts there? I see D Lane, your man on.
He's over there. Yeah, he's over there. I don't know if she can win this, but one who I really loved her return. She's got the Princess Raheen's form. She goes back really well. Was way to go. Paula was sensational first up at Pakenham, wide all the way, and then just reeled off sections. Love that as a return in your. I think it's her 2nd or 3rd prep. So not sure if she can win this, but definitely maybe 3rd up.
Well, she actually beat Ripper Reader last prep, who come out and won on Saturday, beat Bo Rossa. So that form's probably tying
the Princess Raheen's form. That was the same race. Yeah.
So
Pakenham Maiden.
Yeah, couldn't knock that at all.
Yeah, no, she's definitely one on the up way to go, Paula.
I can see the glint in his eye. That's what I call Horned Up Deluxe. DK likes this runner, so make sure you follow that one. If it's not winning on Saturday, it might be winning at its next couple of starts. Let's kick across to race 7, the City of Adelaide Handicap. We've got the odds on the screen, courtesy of TopSport. Market movers, please, Darcy.
Yep, so we have Groundswell, $3 into $2.35. Territory Titan, $4.40 to $5. Movada, $7 into $8. Sky Punch, $9.50 to $10. And Magna Bella, $9 into $10.
The replay that we're going to get up on the screen now is your favourite. $3 into $2.35 is a big move early at TopSport. And Groundswell, its last 400 metres. Let's watch it hit the line here out in front. I think you were there that day, Nico.
Led, yeah, didn't he?
Yeah, I was at Bendigo that day. It was a day that you wanted to be sort of on speed and leading, and he had first sort of use of the track there. What I did note, though, is he still had a lot of improvement to come from the yards. So that run would have done him the world of good leading into Saturday, $3 into $2.35. Like the early money sort of there. Shane, what were your thoughts on Groundswell?
Yeah, obviously impressive there at Bendigo. Look, this race, we've talked about the race before having no speed. This race has a lot of speed. We've got Morvada, Territory Titan, who we saw run huge behind Ironclad at Bendigo. That only knows one way. That will go forward. Sky Punch has delivered its best figures when being able to lead and beat Dallasan last year, being able to lead the whole way on the park circuit. I don't think they'll go slowly in this. Looking at Groundswell's sort of profile, it needs to be sitting either leading or outside the lead. That's where it runs its best ratings. Will it find that position is the question for mine. I think it might be in a trailing position. So, look, I think at 250, I think it's short enough for mine. So we'll let that go around. If we can get it to drift on the date around $3, I'm happy to entertain it. But, look, I think there's going to be some hot speed here and it might bring it undone.
Is it definitely going there? Because it's dual accepted at Caulfield as well, isn't it?
Definitely going.
Definitely going to Adelaide.
Definitely going.
Definitely going to Adelaide. Okay.
Yeah, there's a heap of dual nominators, especially with the Anzac Day meeting on Sunday as well.
It's just a blight, but no, you can see why they do it. They're allowed to do it. But there's dual acceptors dead set everywhere.
Isles Avalon, the horse we're going to talk about, and they're one of the early races at Caulfield. I think it's nominated at Adelaide as well.
In that 2-year-old race, about 6 of them are dual nominated. There's some in the maiden, there's some everywhere.
So definitely take care.
Nightmare.
Betting early.
It is. It's just pain in the arse.
It is. It is. Like, especially also like Groundswell. Like, he's $4 at Caulfield.
$4.
And then he's like $2.35 here. And I'm pretty sure he's going to Adelaide. Like, D-Lane's been booked, and I think that was the plan from earlier in the week. And he's got no rider at Caulfield. So
no right. But even if you want to have a bet in the race, back the others.
He's still in it.
He's still in it.
Yeah, he's not scratched yet.
We'll work out what your deductions are going to be if you want to, take the odds. Just, Jesus. Anyway.
DK's just starting to work through his gears. We're pushing all these buttons today. It's very nasty behaviour for us. Any other thoughts or anything out wide for us, Bagman?
It's worth noting for punters that races 8 and 9 at Morphettville will be run on the outer track. The races before that are all on the park. So 8 and 9, that is the breeders and the chairmans, will both be run on the outer track. So the 2 group races will be on the good track, I guess, at Morphettville.
And just looking through those fields, He's Exceptional, one of Casey's horses, is there. Isles of Avalon is nominated, and in the last race, it's a corker too. Royal Mile, the horse that you guys found last start at $10 or $11. Casino 17, that's been one of ours. Deep Strike. Wow, it's a cracking card. It's really heating up in Adelaide.
And D Lane's over there for the day. That'll keep them all honest over there. Those riders, he's a gun.
Fantastic stuff, Bagman. We'll chat next week, and hopefully Anavisto can get the chocolates for us.
We'll be cheering, Scoot. Have a good week, guys.
See you, Bagman.
See you, Bagman.
Thanks, mate. Up next, we're going to talk Caulfield with our man Nico Noonan. He's found one in race 1. But Das, this week betting.
TopSport.com.au. Family owned and operated for 35 years. Bet with a bookmaker you can trust. Bet with TopSport.com.au.
We'll take a break. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. We've got DK, Das and Nico Noonan. It's time to talk Caulfield. I don't know how many weeks in a row it's been, but I think that was 6 weeks in a row. It feels like they've been racing forever. Magic job the MRC do with racing. Need to get out there, need to get away from the missus and kids, and need to get out there and
see another day at the races, Das. What do you reckon? Hey?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
You had fun last time.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I think we're due again, Scooties.
Terrace dining room. We might try and get through the Bull Carnival first, and then just give ourselves a mid-season treat and get out to Caulfield. So we'll have to earmark a day there. So let's get a reserved spot on the terrace, and we can just watch Nico pluck them out of the yard.
Hopefully. Wouldn't that be good?
Now, Nico, the first race that you like here is the opener, which is good news. Race 1, the Wild Handicap.
What's going on there? Your joint's flying, right?
The stable can start
sponsoring 2-year-old races at Caulfield from Warrnambool.
I was looking for the setup job. Where's the runner?
It was yesterday.
They'd be have one in it for sure, sponsoring the race.
We got the cash yesterday.
We've got the cap this week, but yes, they are absolutely flying. The Simon Wild Yard. We've got odds courtesy of TopSport on the screen now. Market movers, please, Das.
Gimme Par, $2.80 into $2.60. $1 Billion Baby, $3.60. Isles of Avalon, $7.50. Vandula Lass, $7 into $9. And Anatolia, $14 into $12.
Thoughts here, Nico, of the last start replay of Gimme Par, P. Moody, L. Nolan?
Yeah, I like this horse on debut. She was 30s into 11s there at Flemington. I was looking at him in the yard and I thought, gee, what's this thing down the bottom of the weights? And then I realised it was her. I ended up having a pretty good bet each way. I think she only lost that race because she didn't really know what she was doing there in the straight. Like, look at her, that last sort of 100 metres, she really knuckles down and chases this thing in the blue colours who turns out to be ingratiating.
Fair horse.
Next start nearly wins the Blue Diamond, so the form's obviously frank there. I think she was only going to improve once she sort of had a few more weeks out, come back, recent jump out at Pakenham. I was going to get that up, but the vision was just absolutely horrendous, so we don't want to steer the punters into that. That needs to be looked at, the jump out vision in Victoria, but it was pretty sharp work there. So I think from barrier number, 6 or... No, she's into 5 now, barrier number 5. Like, it's just dead set sit and steer job for Luke Nolan. Just keep her off the fence, keep her out of trouble, and she'll be winning punters.
Finance tycoon.
Yeah. So I think she'll be sort of back midfield. There's good speed here, like Blistering shown heaps of speed in her sort of jump outs. $1 Billion Babe will go forward, Northern Melody, even Vandal or Lass. So I think she'll probably be stalking sort of midfield, but if Nolan can just keep her out and uninterrupted running, like, I think this could be one of the better 2-year-old fillies we have in Melbourne, and especially progressing on to the 3-year-old sort of ranks. So she looks very hard to beat.
I do like El Nolan, P. Moody back to their old stomping ground.
Yeah, and keeping it simple, that's the go for Trumpy.
Yep. The next race we're going to have a look at is race 4, the Lou Simon Builders Handicap. It's a benchmark 78. Odds on the screen thanks to TopSport.
Marabi, $2.35 into $2.15. Into Predaceous, $9 into $8. That's a hard one.
Okay, let's have a look at the hot pot here. This is Marabi's the horse you remember from the Money Valley Nights. I think it was $1.22. It was in the last race, and the SA boys had already won. It's in the Kieran Ma light blue and maroon here. It was a sit and steer job. It just bounced and it was straight to the front.
On the Travelator?
Yeah, it was on lights out. Wasn't it? Lights out really early here. Inside going was clearly the best on the night.
Yeah, well, she's been a sit and steer job her 3 career starts so far. She's shown that she has enormous ability. This mare now. Look, she is 1,200 back to 11, and I don't think she'll find the front here, but I think that could suit her. Like, there's good speed in this race, just dropping back down from, barrier number 13. I was kind of expecting to be like 2 pairs back, maybe 1 off, maybe 1 out, 1 back. She could lead. Like, I don't think that's sort of out of the possibility, but there is good speed here. I think this is an opportunity for them to maybe teach her something and sort of teach her to settle. Like, what she's shown on the punting form data, like her last 600 last start, she's run at nearly 12.5 lengths above on the all benchmark. The start prior 10 lengths above.
Yeah, she's got a huge back end on her races.
Like, it's just enormous sectionals. Like, it's that of like a group class filly mare, if not group 1. Like what she's showing early. So she's unbeaten. Look, she's short, but I think if you're looking to play all ups and multis on the day, this would be a horse I'd probably be banking in there. I think she'll start a lot shorter too. I think the market finds her again. I wouldn't be surprised if she's starting at $1.65, $1.70. I think the $2 on offer is fair at the moment.
Interesting with the barrier draw. Will the big syndicates find it?
I got some reservations about her here.
Okay. Really?
Yeah. 36 days.
Yep.
Getting deep into this first prep. The wide barrier with all that speed drawn inside her. Even barrier 1 and 2. You got who's in 1 and 2? Namajadi and our Gladiator. They're not, they're both going to kick up.
They'll go quick. I think it'll suit her though.
She's been a bit green, and the other thing is I haven't seen any press. What's she coming? What's she going? Is she going to Queensland? Is she going? I wonder what.
Where's the grand
do not
final?
tip her out. Is strange to me.
They got to get her rating up. Like, she's not going to get into any races in the spring if she's staying where she's at. So get the rating up. They don't believe in Spalsmar, Eustace. If she's up and firing and racing like she is, they'll just keep running her. So
the back-end trip's the other one. I don't know about the back-end trip either. So I just had some reservations, and as you said, it'll be very interesting whether she does start $1.65 or starts black figures. It'll be very interesting.
I think back her either way, punters. She'll be too good.
It's interesting. There's as we said before, there's a ton of dual acceptors. So we've decided to target the early races. But Nico Noonan's horse Alpha Oro is in later on. It's actually it's another solid card. Caulfield just keep popping them up. I don't know. It feels like we're mice in the wheel here, and it's still been really fresh and interesting. I think the quality of the fields at the moment has been fantastic.
Oh, it's a good meeting. Like you said, through those later races like Groundswell, I like Riddle Me That in the anniversary vars, but Groundswell was still in the race, so didn't quite 100% want to tip into that and say a few things sort of changed. So I think these two sort of early, they should run, and I think they should both be winning. So if you want to take an all up or something like that on the day, punters, they're probably the two for mine. I thought Riddle Me That was probably the other good bet on the card. I think in race 7 or race 8.
Just wait for
$4 plus, he'll be a bet for me.
Yeah, just wait for scratchings and deductions there, maybe on Saturday morning. Now, Darcy, the best form guide in Australia is
powered by puntingform.com.au. DK, Nico, Scoot, all swear by it. Black book and complete database solution that lives in the cloud. Try Punting Form today.
Nico was mentioning those big benchmark figures. It's very easy to digest Punting Form. You get your head around it really, really quickly. If you want to learn to do the form like a pro, all the big syndicates use Punting Form, so make sure you check that out. It's our favourite segment of the show when we've got Dream Team Matt in the dial-up, so we'll talk Randwick races up next with Matt. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I'm joined by DK, the punters punter, Darcy, and Nico Noonan. It's our favourite guest. It's our Dream Team Matt Taylor. You'll know him from season 1. He's a busy man. He's won an Everest. The statue's in the background, or the trophy, I should say. How are you, Matty?
I'm good, guys. How you going?
Mate, fantastic. All the better for seeing you. I think DK's starting to knock off a few of your horses with his DK out wide set.
Oh, they're landing on the same horses. Yeah,
on the same horses, eh?
He loves the videos, mate. He loves the videos.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask him. I
don't like the extra pressure that DK, your new set's putting on me, having to get my work done early and stuff like that. Going to the gym, going to the beach, go check out the prices. Yeah, it's still there. Those days are over.
Those days are over, mate. They're over, especially when you're kids and stuff. The time, bit time poor. But I was going to ask you, what do you think of that barrier trial, Queen Elizabeth, up in North Korea there on Saturday?
Well, I don't know, mate. It's a tough place to back a winner, Sydney, isn't it? It's very tricky with the way the pace of the races and stuff like that. But I got away with the result, so I don't know. What can you say? It's different style of racing in Sydney. Like tapes don't really form the answer. You have to do a lot of work on maps and stuff like that, and guessing the track bias. So. It is what it is. We push on.
And that's all about different jurisdictions. So all jurisdictions have their different quirks and things like that. And people say, why do you specialise in one area? Because you've got a handle on those quirks, and they just all add up, because there's so many of them.
Mark Lambourne was on the show last week, and he found the winner, Adair.
Well, at least he had the theory, didn't he? He said, whatever's running the best odds, I'm going to be on.
Yeah.
What a day run, $3 or something, didn't it? So.
Was it?
Absolutely. I think they were next to each other in the run, and one was on the fence and one wasn't. And if you aren't aware that the inside was hot that day, you won't be able to find a Dave off that replay.
There you go.
It is funny racing, and it's even funny with the track. It was a bit of a query of why it was so wet. Have you got a theory on that, Matt?
Well, there's no theory about it. It's just they were watered the track, didn't they, the night before? I think they've come out and said that.
It's a different world up in Sydney. Let's have a look at this weekend at Randwick. We've got the Group 1 Champagne Stakes odds courtesy of TopSport on the screen, but the market movers, Darcy, please.
Yep, so we have Hillel, $3.40 to $3.60. Captivant, $4.20, Converge, $7 into $5, and Gin Martini, $10 to $9.50.
Wouldn't mind a couple of those right now. Now, the replay that we're going to have a look at here is the lead-up run. Nico Noonan's favourite horse, Animo, the nightmare that just doesn't go away from the Little Birdie Diamonds. It's Halal here in the Emirates Park colours, and we've got Captivant right beside him. They just enter a little bit of a bumping duel on the home turn there. Matt Taylor, talk us through it.
Yeah, well, they are in a bumping duel. They're sort of they've had decent runs, and as you can see, Animo is just lengths and lengths above these two, and they just look, they're whacking away. They're doing very similar things, and obviously Halal gets the better of it just on the line. But it's solid form, obviously Animo, and I suppose they ran through the line okay. But really, they're two horses. It's very hard to split them. And there's a sort of, when that happens, I sort of want to start looking elsewhere. I think they call it the DF, the different form. So, look, they're two good horses, two good chances, but, and they're going to sort of capture everyone's attention. But, I'm going to spec a couple out wide from this race, and they come from the Converge race. Converge had an easy lead last start, so for me, a horse called Annika is another 7. I think it's big odds, about $21. I think it's a nice each-way chance. And, Gin Martini, the horse you mentioned, Scoot, we love one right now, but I think it can finish home as well. So, look, those two horses, they've got the hot form from, Animo, but, look, Halal, I remember Halal, it debuted on a Wednesday, not that long ago. Let me have a look. It was the 3rd of the 2nd at Kensington. I was doing the preview for the Ramp Boys, and this horse is now it's had its 5th start and its first prep. I just want to start looking away from this form. That's why.
It's an interesting one from the Hawks Yard.
Yeah,
really odd setup. It's like they've misread the horse somehow.
Yeah, and it's the mile. I reckon it got a bit keen the other day in that 1400 metre race, even though it was out the back, and it was well ridden to do what it did. But when I had a quick look at it, I was like that. Both these horses are coming off that 1400 metre run, whereas the Converge race, they've already had the run at the mile, and it was a slow tempo mile, so they're all right to stay at the mile again.
Yep.
So I can see where Matt's coming from there.
Any thoughts, Nico?
Yeah, tricky race. Like, they're pretty hard to split, like Matt sort of said. I want to get Matt's opinion on one horse right down the bottom, a horse who originally from sort of Victoria, trialled absolutely enormous one day at Cranbourne, still a maidener. Port Louis here, Matt. Huey Bowman, Ma Eustace, did you have any thoughts here? Had some big punting form closes, just looking at the data there.
Yeah, I think I had a bit of a go on it last start against $1 Billion Baby at Canterbury. Its figures are good. Like, that's my point as to why I'm going away from the favourites. All these horses have very similar sort of figures within a few lengths of each other. So, look, Port Louis is a good chance. He did have a decent run behind the horse on debut, Billion Dollar Baby. So, just because of that, I can't back it in this race. But it's definitely a sneaky one.
So Matt is keen to play Encore at $21 and Gin Martini at $9. So yeah, there's a big red flag on the favourites there. Let's have a look at the Group 1 all-age stakes. We've got the odds courtesy of TopSport up on the screen now. And market movers, please, Darcy.
Masked Crusader, $2.70. Savitano, $7. Cascadian, $9 to $10. Tagaloa, $11 to $10. And Dreamforce, $12 to $11.
The replay that we're going to get up on the screen now, you'll be familiar with, is Masked Crusader. It's been all through the press, this ride from Kieran McAvoy.
What ride?
Masked Crusader.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was only because Fonk had a problem with it. But anyone, when the horse misses the start all the time or gets back, I watched it again this morning just to make sure. I said, what is he blowing about? What more could he have done?
And Rupert's just come out and said that he's not happy with the barrier draws, the owner. So the connections are a little bit precious at the moment, Wayne Hawkes and Rupert Lee. I think they've had a pretty good run. They've had a horse called Chautauqua. They've had a lot of luck with racing, so it's really funny to hear the sour grapes from the stable. Now, friend Dan O'Sullivan has quashed the barrier rumours already. He's just fired back with some stats there. But let's have a look at the replay there of Masked Crusader behind Nature Strip in the TJ Smith here, and it's a big question. What happens when this horse goes up to 1400? Matt Taylor, Masked Crusader weaving through in the yellow cap.
Look, it is the query of the race. But looking at this race, you just have to sort of believe your eyes, and I am going to believe my eyes in this scenario. You know, he did run through the line really well. The form out of those two horses, you know, you won't get any better than that. Compared to the form of the Cascadians who are coming back from that big handicap, the Doncaster, I think it was. So, yeah, for me, I'm happy with that. It is a question mark, no doubt about it. But horse is sort of at the end of its prep, I know that. But Tommy Berry's going to try and let it settle down. And there's enough pressure on in this race to say that it can finish over the top. So, look, it is a question mark. And that's why you're getting sort of upwards of, or you're getting, you know, definitely getting over even money. So you're getting about, what, 280 was it?
Yeah,
so
$3.
Yeah, so 270, 280. That's the question mark. That's why it's not even money. And I'm happy to sort of run the gauntlet and head that way.
It's an interesting one, like reading in between the lines of what Rupert's saying, them drawing a wide gate, maybe thinks to me, I think, now it's stepping up to 1400, they wanted to settle closer, but Nick and I were speaking about this morning, given how many times it misses a start.
He doesn't help himself, does he? He just walks out of the barriers like he did last start, which
flops out.
Probably nearly cost him the race there last start. He did it in the race at Moonee Valley. Was that the William Reid? I'm pretty sure that was.
Same thing, and that's what.
He was just blessed to get up the rail, really. So from barrier 12, if he's slow away, like he's going to be back last. I did kind of note, like, he's breeding, like the Dam, she's got gears. I don't know if DK remembers her, but she was a real sort of quick 1,000-metre horse.
Straight horse.
Like 1,400, I'm with Matt. Like, it's got to be a concern. If you believe the eye and see what you saw last start, he's strong to the line, all those kind of things. I think he should have gone a lot closer to beating Nature Strip than what he did. If this is 1,200, I think we'd all be chips in. But 14 is definitely a little grey up.
And we'll just get the Cascadian last 400 here up on the replay just to confirm things here. But these horses, you can see Cascadian in behind Muga 2 in the racing colours. It's got the big white baldy face. You got Dalasan trying to poke through there. And I'm a little bit like Matt. I think I'd rather the horse coming from the TJ Smith up to the 1400 than these horses, especially off this handicap grand final. Yeah, I don't know that we can learn too much from this replay.
Cascadian, he's one of those horses, and he gets back and he always finishes so hard. Like, the only time I could back Cascadian is in a race like this. Like, he'd be much better off in a Doncaster than he would be in a jiggy joggy maiden. And last start was perfect for him. Obviously, he dropped a stack of weight coming into that run. Stacks and stacks of pressure. Yeah, this that Cascadian. If you back Cascadian last start, I think you want to look at it as though you got your money out of him and move on.
Queue in the rack.
And that's how I'm going to play that one. He's one of those horses. He needs a stack of pressure, a big field, and he got all that sort of stuff in Doncaster. So
And the only horse that I sort of like that's been a tiny little spec, but it's drifted again now. I'm looking at TopSport as Dreamforce. I just kept a little bit fresh. And
this is a bet, isn't it, Dreamforce? The more I look at the race, the more clarity I get. Like, he's third up. He's got really good third up stats. Jmac goes aboard. Barrier 13. They're probably just going to send him straight to the front. Likes 1400. Like, with a few of these, like Cascadian's going to be buried from one. Master Crusader's going to be back in the field. Colding's a bit in the wilderness off his last start. Tagaloa's got this 3-year-old form that looks junk. I just thought this was a very, very easy each-way bet here, punters.
If you forget he's an 8-year-old, he's probably a bet. Even Matt Taylor's sporting the cardigan, but he's an absolute assassin, so don't be fooled by the looks of Matt Taylor on the screen there.
Thanks, Scoot. It's getting cold here in Sydney too. Not as bad as Melbourne, I've heard. But, it's a decent day's racing, and the track should race pretty well. So, there's a couple of horses for us to follow.
Any comments about Tagaloa, your favourite stable?
My favourite stable? No comment. No, I'm not, because you know what'll happen as soon as I open my mouth. They'll beat me in a photo. I've had me crack and got away with it. Remember the next day? Bazuston horse nearly beat me. So that would have been the stone end.
Too good.
I've seen Tagaloa. He's had a few sort of exhibition gallops at the races at Bendigo, and he's at Caulfield last Saturday, and the horse looks enormous. Like, they can't have him looking any better. So if he is going to sort of win another Group 1 and get himself back up, this is probably it, with a few sort of chinky horses around him. But that 3-year-old form does look a bit sus.
What are they talking about? They're saying the best 3-year-old in the country is this Ayrton, who's a maiden. It's going to be, everyone's saying it's all junk. 3-year-old form's all junk. It's just they're shipping them all off and overseas, and we're left with not much.
Might be a good time to wrap it up. Thanks for joining us, Matty Taylor. It's been an absolute treat.
No problems, guys. Thank you.
Das, up next, we're going to talk. We're going to zip through the TopSport big bets and wrap up the show. But where's the early money gone at TopSport?
Yeah, so we have Randwick Race 4, number 8, Zayrek, $500 at $16. Randwick Race 5, number 2, Splintex, $500 at $13. Randwick Race 7, number 1, Colding, $1,000 at $13. And Caulfield Race 7, number 8, Kentucky Breeze, $500 at $19.
Any of those bets tickle your fancy?
I think just a few donations there to TopSport, isn't it? I couldn't really come in on any of those, to be honest. So good luck to the punters parting with their money early there. But
all look big odds too, so just having a spec, I'd say.
Look hard to find, I would have thought.
The only ticket I'd be interested in, just because it's at a price, is probably Colding, but I definitely wouldn't want to have $1,000 on Colding.
Think of much better ways to spend $1,000 than putting it on Colding. That's for sure.
Yeah, but out of those 4 early bets, they're the only one. That's the only one I'd side with. That's for sure. Been a fantastic episode, DK. We've lifted the heart rate there, and you've got a little bit up your chest. It's been a bit of a cleansing session.
Correct, Scooty. Correct. So we'll bounce into the weekend, and we'll find the punters something that we needed a cleanse.
Beautiful. Darcy this weekend. What's plans?
Laying low. I'll have to watch the races though. So.
No events? Any events?
Oh, yeah, a birthday. I'm always out and about. But yeah, we're trying to lay low.
Maybe the Osborne Hotel. What about you, Nico? You're on deck. You're going to do the double, aren't you? Caulfield into Flemington. So you'll be on the tools.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day racing there at Caulfield. I'm keen to get to Flemington. The fields haven't dropped yet, but they're about to. So I think that'll be a ripper meeting. So Mount Mail there, $11 a meeting there, Scoot. So if you want to get involved, I'm going to be at Cranbourne on Friday night as well. So absolutely sick here. So big weekend of racing, huge weekend of sport as well. So it's going to be a ripper. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I can't wait either. I'll be in the Little Birdie office betting my brains out all Saturday, so I think I'm going to do a 10 till 10 shift and just watch all the AFL, all the action and all the races.
How big?
Hopefully I can take Tristan for a couple of thousand in the process. In the meantime.
And the rest.
I reckon if you're looking to get on a subscription, punters, out wide DK, he's just really starting to fire up today, isn't he? He's blowing up about things going off. So I reckon Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, watch out.
Well, it is $1 for the rest of April, so make sure you jump on board there, and you'll have to renew and pay full tote for May and June. But support DK. He's given you plenty of winners through April, and make sure you support Bet Doctor TV. Follow us in the Apple and Spotify stores and SoundCloud, or just follow our YouTube channel and you can watch the show, watch the replays, and you can see our ugly mugs with the exception of Darcy. We'll be back next week, and good luck on the punt.